Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and happy Friday. So we're at the end of the week now, going into the weekend, and I've been feeling really good the last little while. This is take two of my video, by the way. I brought my little spray bottle because my cats are like murdering each other right now. So I just want to make sure that they stop fighting. No fighting, be nice, please. Anyways, as I said in my other video before I re-recorded, I'm convinced that like when I record, they just want to take over and be in the spotlight because they're fine. And the minute I start recording, they just like start to get rowdy and like attack each other. Either that or it's a sign that the universe doesn't want me to make videos. So I'm gonna spray them with water. I just want them to hurt each other because they like start clawing and biting each other. For those of you who own cats. Anyways, as I was saying, I've been feeling pretty good the last little while, and even though we're in a Mercury retrograde and that like usually causes a lot of upheaval for a lot of people, it brings back a lot of things from your past, but it's been quite good for me. The energies have been really good for me. Been doing lots of clearing and meditation. And most importantly, I've been really mindful with my intention and checking in with myself and where I am and being really aware of like the things that are triggering me and how to bring myself back to a heart-centered space. And it's been really light, the energies, despite, and I'm not saying that things aren't happening around me because I mean, that's, obviously things are going to always happen around you, but it's how we react to it that's important. And knowing that our essence, as Andrew says, one of my teachers, our essence is always okay, no matter what. So at the root of everything, I'm okay. I know that everything is like, might be an upheaval around me, but I'm okay and I'm going to be okay. So it's fine. And so I've been feeling pretty good. I can't say anything bad about anything that's been going on so far. It's been good. But anyways, with that being said, I normally don't. I know there's like all this stuff happening and around us. There's always things that people are gonna like, cause fear mongering and things in the news, especially with all the coronavirus stuff happening right now. And I don't watch any of those things. So, if you're a very sensitive, highly sensitive person or empath, or you feel all those things extra, whatever you want to like call yourself or label yourself as, you tend to like not watch the news and things like that because the way they, catastrophize everything and fearmonger, and the way that everything is so intense. There's so many things going on and it affects your state of being so much that you just don't watch it. You don't participate in any of that, and because it's just too much. So I haven't watched the news or follow the news for like a long time. I never pay attention to things like that. So once in a while, like for some social issues, I might like, keep up to date with, current events and things like that, but I just don't watch them or read the stuff, especially watching videos and things like that. And why I'm bringing that up is because of this one particular thing that I saw in my newsfeed on Facebook. And, I've learned to like unfollow and use discernment for a lot of things and realize which things are pushing whatever point of view they're trying to push. But there was this one thing that really stuck out for me, and I was just like, I really wanted to make a point to talk about this because it was really important to me. So, and the topic I'm talking about is apathy and complacency, and how that translate into our actual like relationships we have with people in terms of the connections and friends and acquaintances that we keep. So the incident, I'll just repeat it. So there was an incident in Hamilton. So I live in Toronto, and Hamilton is a city that's not far from here. There was an incident where I believe it was a 12-year-old boy. I don't know all the details. I just know the gist of what happened. Was basically like beat up by multiple people. He was beat up to like an unconscious state, and there were so many people around him, and nobody helped. Nobody called for help. Nobody called the police. Nobody called 911, but they filmed it and put it online. And so this boy was incredibly badly injured, could have been fatal. I don't even know if it's like he's in, critical care in hospital. I don't know the details because I didn't want to like read up on it. I was more bothered by the fact that nobody did anything about it. And that disconnect with people is just so bothersome to me. So when I was in my early 20s, I took this women's self-defense course, program, whatever it was. It was over the course of a few weeks, and we learned self-defense. And so we learned how to do specific blocks. We learned how to attack someone who is coming at us. We learned how to break their neck, go for the jugular, like all these different things. We learned all these different techniques, how to get someone off you that pins you down to the ground, how to get away from somebody who has you in different types of holds and things like that. Anyways, it was incredibly like helpful. So and the reason this program started was because of something that happened. I can't tell you the year that it happened, but it was like an older thing that happened like in the 50s or 60s or even longer than that. I don't remember. Where there was a girl who was getting attacked by someone she went on a date with. I don't know if it was her boyfriend or just a random person she went on a date with. And outside of their apartment building, she was screaming for help. And everyone just ignored it. They ignored it, and then she was attacked by this guy and then left, and she was still alive when he left. And then she ended up dying because nobody called for help or went to help or called the cops or anything like that. And then there's a name, because of her name, like they put in a law. I wish I looked this up before making the video, but they made a law, and it has to do with like, a Good Samaritan kind of law, where it's like, if you witness something or if you were there and you didn't do anything about it, then you would be like complicit. You were part of the crime, which I think is really important because there's people that are afraid to get involved, and you don't need to be involved. You don't have to go and do there. I understand that fear, but it's like, why wouldn't you even like call 911? What if that was your family? What if that was your sister or your mother or your child, your partner? Like, would you not want somebody to get involved? I don't understand that. So I wanted to talk about that, about the apathy and complacency and what that means, and that's like running rampant everywhere. And one of the biggest places it shows up is this, and I constantly have this discussion with people, and I'm pretty sure I've made a previous video on my channel about it, but I just want to talk about it again after this incident. But the way that people allow bad things to exist in their space so long as it is not happening to them is honestly messed up. It is totally at an all-time high right now, and I don't comprehend that. For me, when you have people who have integrity and loyalty and things like that, that is incredibly important to me, and that is the way you would judge someone's character, are by those huge, like, those are fundamental like things that you need to be like a compassionate human being, right? And what I mean by that is, like, I see it all the time with friends and I've said it, I've made videos about this, but people who hang out with other shitty people, and I'm like, I don't understand how you can talk to that person. They do such horrible things, and they're like, well, they didn't do it to me, and that's always the response. They're not doing it to you because there's something they're getting out of you, because if they can do that to all those other people, the minute you are not on their good books, or they're not getting something from you, they're very likely to do that to you as well. Not only that, why are you okay with them doing it to someone else and not you? Like, I don't understand that, like, mentality. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like everyone is just so afraid of wanting to be like accepted, or not to disrupt the status quo, or not to be liked, to be, accepted into the group, and all these things that nobody is willing to stand up and to take a stand against things like that. And that is where the complacency and apathy comes in, where it's like they just don't care. They've put up a shield. It's like a created apathy and complacency, because I don't think at the root of that's true. I don't think that there's apathy and complacency at the root of that. I don't think that people don't care. I think that at the root of that is fear, because we're either operating from fear or love. So at the root of that is fear, and there's wounds that come into play in terms of fear of abandonment and all these other things. And so people are acting on that, and they are acting on that at an all-time high right now. They're operating from this end of the spectrum instead of this end of the spectrum, and it is so apparent in the outside things that are happening. And how do you change that? We can't change things externally. I want that to be very clear right now. When I say, because I posted this and I said we are all responsible for this incident that happened, I meant that. We are all responsible, because the reality is we can't change things externally. We can only change things internally. So how do we change that? You change yourself. That is the only thing you can change. You cannot change anybody else. Let me repeat that. You cannot change anybody else. I'm going to say it another time to be very clear. You cannot change anybody else. So what do? We change ourselves. You live by example. You be the person that you want to see out there. That is how you create change, and it creates ripple effects. Because how are people going to be different if there's nobody to model after? We don't have any role models out there. So you need to be that role model. If you have people in your circle that are shitty people and do shitty things, even if they're not doing shitty things to you, you need to speak up, cut those people off, and take a stand and make it very clear with those boundaries. Because that way we create that message and say that we do not accept this behavior. We do not tolerate this kind of behavior. Because if we are okay with people being shitty to other people, but it's okay, you're my friend, I don't give a crap if you're fucking shitty to that person, we're good, let's fucking hang out. If we're okay with that, then we send a message that, hey man, it's okay that you're shitty. Your shittiness doesn't affect me. Go be shitty to the world. And it just creates ripple effects that way. So shittiness and toxic behaviors create ripple effects that way. And then fear-based behaviors will expand more that way. So, sorry. So to create the change we need to do, we need to be different. We need to change. I have to change myself, which I do. I'm constantly working on myself, and I live by example, and I do these things to help change my reality, my external thing. I associate with people who reflect the qualities that I want in people around me. I want people that have integrity. I want people that are altruistic. I want people who are authentic and compassionate. Those are the people that I surround myself with. That is what I want in my circle. That is the message that I want to put out there. And then I want to create that kind of a group. I want to create that kind of environment. I want to create that kind of society. So I need to be that. I have to be that person to want that outside, because as it is within, it is outside the same way. So that is how we create change. So when I hear about things like this, about that poor boy in Hamilton who got beat up, it's on all our shoulders. And it's not just those people's fault, whoever beat him up. It's not the people who were in the place that didn't do anything. It's everybody, because the reality is that we allow this culture to exist, and it doesn't matter at what extreme it is. It exists because we allow it to exist. I want that to be clear, because some people will hear this message and say, and if you get defensive and it triggers you, then see where that's coming for you. See where that's coming from for you and why that triggers you. Because the reality is, if we tolerate and allow that kind of behavior, it exists. And you might think, I would never stand there and watch someone be beat up. Okay, but how about people around you? I want you to take an inventory of the people that you hang out with in your circle, your acquaintances and your friends. How many of them do shitty things to other people, but not you, that are, they have questionable behaviors in their life? I want you to take an inventory of that. And I'm not saying like, don't be friends with people who are shitty or like don't whatever. But I mean, do you call them out on stuff like that? If someone's a bully, do you call them out on that? Do you call them out on someone who's abusive, has abusive behavior, someone who calls people names and teases them and things like that? Do you call people out on that kind of behavior? People who are like very envious and act on that, do you call people out on those behaviors? Because that might be one extreme when someone's beating someone up, but they appear in our everyday lives, every day, every moment of our days. It appears around us in different ways, and some in lower ways and some in higher ways. So when we see those things, do you call out behaviors like that? Do you call it out? Do you excuse it? Do you ignore it? Do you just like walk away? And do you just, what is it that you do? Like if you have an opportunity, a learning opportunity to say that, and you're not saying it to not make them change. That's not what you're saying. You're saying it because you're asserting your boundary and saying, I'm not cool with this. I'm not cool with you being this way. I'm absolutely not cool with you being this way. And it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not a good, like, compassionate, human way to be to someone else. So that is something I feel so strongly about. It is the reason for why I'm involved in so much activism, because I stand up for others who cannot stand up for themselves. But I just want to bring that about because it's like when we see things like that, it's so easy for us to get angry at other people and what they're doing. But what are we doing in our life to reflect that? What behaviors are we allowing or participating in that cause those ripple effects? Are we being good role models to other people? If you have children, for instance, or you take care of children, or there's children around you, what behaviors are you modeling to children when you accept friendship and acquaintances who are bullies and do these like really horrible behaviors to treat people like crap? And those are things when I say, like, when you want to bring it back to yourself and be mindful, because every action has a reaction. Whatever energy we put out, we get back. So it's important to be very mindful of that and to be aware. And our self-awareness is key in everything. In the grand scheme of things, we have to be self-aware, and we can only control what we do. So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope that I made the message clear, because it's something that's really important to me, and I can't even like say how I feel about that. It's just so bothersome to me that we've become like we've at this state, or that we're totally operating out of this fear state, and that we are no longer coming from a place of love and compassion. And that's a problem. And the only way we can change that is by changing ourselves and, allowing that to, cause a ripple effect and be role models and influence our energy around us, and hopefully allow other people to step into that kind of energy as well. So anyways, I hope you have a really good weekend, and allow yourself to, be aware of what you're doing and participating in, how your actions can make a difference. And when things like that are happening around you, what can you do in your life to change yourself? How can I change to make things better for things around me? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe to my channel. And if there's anything else you want to hear or talk about, feel free to drop a message and I will make a video about it. Anyways, have an awesome weekend. I'll see you later.